Bira Law Court. Now, away from that, in news that the Kenya Commercial Bank placed Mumias Sugar Company under receivership over a debt it owes the bank came as a shocker to residents in Kakamega and indeed leaders from the region. Wile Lusige traces the path of the company and why it has now come to this.
This is the famous Shivale town adjacent to Mumias Sugar Factory that its shops were painted with beautiful colors. And in a normal day, you'll see hundreds of customers popping in and popping out of these shops. Most of them were employees of the famous Mumias Sugar Factory. Today, the area is poverty-stricken with many families living from hand to mouth to survive. A drive through the area, one is treated to empty sugarcane transporting yards that once employed hundreds of drivers and loaders, closed down with workers currently wallowing in unemployment.
Nimekuwa na duka mpaka wakati ambapo kiwanda kilienda chini, nikafunga duka.
At the local village center, a few former employees watch the sunset, a reality they have to contend with that things are no longer the same. Once new equipment lie in the background which have since gathered rust. This is hard to conceive of one-time functioning state-of-the-art sugar factory, the Mumias Sugar Company, the pride of Western Kenya.
Ndoto yangu itakuwa imetimia wakati ule ambapo nitaona wale wote ambao walihusika haswa kuleta hiki kiwanda chini wanafikishwa mahakamani, wanashtakiwa na hata mali yao inachukuliwa kunadiwa ili iweze kurudishwa hapa.
But really, what happened to the one-time giant?
Mumias collapsed during the time of President Mwai Kibaki. It collapsed during the time of Right Honorable Raila Odinga when he was Prime Minister. It collapsed during the time of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta when he was Finance Minister.
A drive into the factory and one is struck to reality. Monkeys race around, chattering cheerfully as though they own the vast estate that used to be heavily guarded. Shrubs and flowers that were once well trimmed and maintained to make the hedges around the staff houses have overgrown into wild bushes. The few remaining factory infrastructure have been vandalized by scrap metal dealers. Ramadan, a former Mumias Sugar employee, has lived here for decades. He used to work in the factory, but for the last 7 years he has had to make a living as a border rider. He now survives on his major earnings of between 200 and 400 shillings, a departure from what he used to earn.
We relied fully on Mumias Sugar by the time it was thriving our economy here. That after the hiccups we are facing, the business is not as usual.
The epic fall of Mumias Sugar as one of the key manufacturing facilities in Western Kenya has had a huge ripple effect. Observers say that one-time giant, which controlled over 50% of the sugar industry market share, was subjected to unethical business practices alongside rogue managers who allegedly played a role in its downfall.
In the entire East Africa, this is the biggest factory. But mismanagement set in. When mismanagement set in, then the company went down.
Trouble began in 2004 when the new officials took over the management from Bukatet Management, whose contract had expired in June 2003.
When the first African managing director, Dr. Evans Kitero, took over,
Bukatet had adopted a model that was beneficial to both the farmers and the miller. Farmers contracted to Mumias Sugar Factory under the umbrella body Moko. Mumias Outgrowers Company will supply cane to the miller. Moko, jointly with Mumias Sugar, will undertake all activities of cane development, which included harvesting and transportation.
Ilikuwa imetengenezwa mahususi ili kuweza kukua sauti ya mkulima, kumtetea mkulima ambaye hangeweza kujitetea directly.
In 2004, Mumias management kicked out 2 partners in the zone. First step was to cut the link between Moko and started dealing with the farmers directly. That meant that the farmers had no voice. When the link was cut off, the company would lower the price per ton without any consultation. Mumias had challenges recovering the SACCO's dues, allegedly withholding the recovered money for long periods so that the society will suffer cash flow problems.
Yule managing director ambaye alikuwepo wakati huo alikuwa very uncomfortable. Hakukuwa anafurahia hiyo kampuni ya Moko ikuwepo kwa sababu ilikuwa inazungumzia maneno ambayo inahusu wakulima.
Actually, the management of Mumias Sugar Company used some of the politicians to ensure that Moko is kicked out.
In all this development, the farmers started losing interest in cane farming owing to unpaid dues. Due to lower prices for cane delivered, more farmers uprooted cane and turned to other farming activities.
Kwa pengine umepata 1,200. Lakini wanakata, unakuja mwisho unapata nil. Sasa unashangaa out of 200,000 kama nimepata nil. Shamba yangu tayari imekuwa wasted. Muda umekuwa wasted. Sasa hina maana.
Private millers took the advantage and started cane poaching from Mumias contracted farmers. Cane farmers enjoyed no input cost deductions, higher price per ton, and payment was immediately after delivery. Mumias raw material was under siege.
Wamekuwa kibeba zile miwa ambazo ziko contracted kwa Mumias Sugar Company na wanaenda kusiaga katika factory zao.
Some canes used to be harvested at night even, up to the level that Mumias Sugar Company was now hiring the police officers.
The company was also affected by implementation of an income generating project that left a big hole in the company's finances, including building a perimeter wall, tarmacking all the roads within the company, the loss-making power generation and water bottling plant.
Kuna hiyo administration block ambayo alijenga. Nasikia ya kwamba watu wa National Construction Authority wanasema ya kwamba hiyo nyumba is not habitable, ya kwamba haiwezi kutumika tena kama ofisi. So unakuta ya kwamba zile pesa ambazo zimeenda pale zaidi ya milioni 800, hizo pesa zimeenda na maji, zimepotea.
Through some rogue company employees, the farm itself was robbing from the farmers. They were losing their produce through alleged manipulation of weight bridge readings where the recorded tonnage was far below what was delivered. Stolen sugarcane quantity in tons were professionally transferred from farmers' account to other accounts created by rascal company staffs.
Miwa yake kutoka kabini kwa shamba ikiwa tani kama 10, ikifika hapo inakuwa tani 2, tani 3. Sasa unashangaa hii miwa yote ilikuwa imejaa. Inakuaje unapata tani 2?
Some of them could develop fields on the computer, plant sugarcane on computer, and harvest from computer, where actually that farm was non-existent.
In 2013, when Peter Kebati, having previously served as finance director, succeeded Dr. Evans Kidero, upon his resignation to venture into politics, the company rocked with a serious cane shortage. With crushing capacity of 10,000 tons of cane per day, the company was taking up to 2 weeks to collect 6,000 tons. In 2013, the company made a loss of 1.67 billion shillings. Afterwards, the company's financial performance took a downward spiral. It took a 2015 forensic report by KPMG to assess what was ailing the sugar powerhouse of the region. The report established that senior managers misrepresented the facts board in an importation deal that costed the miller 1.1 billion in losses.
That report might have mentioned some big fish in government, and that is why somebody tried to talk tight, and maybe it never worked well.
The former CEO Evans Kidero trashed the allegations made against him in the report and termed it as a baseless and failing to meet the basic threshold. It is in the same 338-page KPMG expose, the findings point to a major structural weakness in the board, whose role was to provide oversight and strategy for the company.
When the management was going into ambitious, heavy commercial borrowing, where was the board?
Even though between 2014 and 2018 the company received a total bailout of 3.1 billion shillings from the state, efforts to revive the farm did not take off. The Mumias Sugar Company Board of Directors for long has also been accused of paying its members hefty amounts of allowances up to date, pushing the miller to the brink of financial ruin.
If government happens to bring even 1 billion here now, you will find the board of directors will be sitting 3 times in a month, and they pay each other 60,000 every sitting.
Politicians have come out to call for the state to intervene and save the miller, although locals claim politicians had had a hand in the miller troubles.
Politicians going there for financial support from the national level to the local level.
During the 2018 Mashujaa Day celebrations, President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered the establishment of the National Sugarcane Task Force chaired by Agriculture CS Mwangi Kiunjuri and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya. The task force was to look into the plight of the sugar sector and present a report to President Kenyatta after 30 days. Recently, Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya formed a 12-member county committee to oversee the revival of the financially struggling Mumias Sugar Company.
I moved in to protect this asset so that they are intact. And secondly, I formed that task force to see how to revive agriculture farming, sugarcane farming.
The task force has been strongly opposed by a section of leaders and cane farmers, terming the outfit as an avenue to swindle county government funds.
Lakini mambo ya task force mara nini isaidi au wanaenda kukaa tu kwa ofisi kula pesa.
In his proposal to restructure the Mumias Sugar Factory that is sent to President Kenyatta in 2016, Benea Salala Okumu has this prescription.
We just need to come up with serious solutions that are not politically seeking populism. Kenya, everything is politics. Even food, when it is put on the table, it is politicized. Who cooked this food? Which party does he belong, or does he belong?
The county government can come up with a program to farmers who really want to do cane farming. They can be given some incentives, sort of a soft loan, so that they can at least do the cane development.
The factory sits idle to date with the talk of another round of bailout in the horizon. For more than 10 years, Mumias continues to report losses with the hopes of locals still remaining alive against a dark shadow of uncertainty hovering over the plant. Willie Lisige, KTN News.
Right, the owner of Precious Talent School